Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Tub Takes. This is a weekly video podcast where we talk about all of the latest and greatest happenings in the VGC community. Today we have a very special episode. I am joined by my lovely co-host. I am joined by Alex. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, doing good. Coming off of a fun weekend playing this global challenge. Fun for some, maybe not for all. We'll definitely dive into that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I'm also joined by someone who I'm very excited to talk to, Mr. Labmaus himself. I'm joined by Tim. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, thank you.
Yeah, it's great to have you on. And then I'm also joined by my fellow data nerd. I'm joined by Gavin. How are you doing?
Doing good, doing good. Can't complain. I mean, I could, but I won't. But
Don't worry. Oh, we got some complaining to do as well as some content to talk about. And so I guess starting out with the big breaking news from this weekend. I know we all heard about the Luka Doncic being traded to the Los Angeles Lakers, but I think that because of that, the other big trade of the weekend got overlooked, which is that Ash has traded his Charizard to Giovanni for Rhydon. I know Charizard has been a really important part of Ash's team in the past. He's seen a lot of success with Charizard on his team, and I think it was also a fan favorite. But I think Charizard might have gained some weight recently, and Ash really has decided that defense wins championships, and so he thinks this gives him the best chance of winning a championship. As a longtime fan of Ash, I am really disappointed. I think that a big part of why I like Ash is his Pokemon are very relatable. And with Charizard no longer on his team, and with Pikachu saying some weird stuff about the Earth being flat, it's really hard for me to continue to support Ash on his Pokemon journey. Might have to find a new trainer to support. But Gavin, I know you are a big fan.
so long. That was way too long to make that. Holy.
But Gavin, I know you're a big fan of Team Rocket and of Giovanni. So, what do you think about their odds of completing world domination now that they have Charizard on their team?
Well, it's hard. Charizard's only 5'7", so they lack a true big man.
That's true.
I
That's true.
I don't know. Charizard has potential, but I think if you look recently, Rhydon got top 128 in the San Antonio Championships.
Mm-hmm.
And Charizard did not. So, that's a point for Rhydon.
It's doing better currently. You got to think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I just don't know how Pikachu could be a flat earther when like Charizard is doing like the seismic toss animation that shows like the whole planet in the middle of it. So like, yeah, I went and found a nice image of it.
I think you get a lot of CTE when you get seismic toss. That probably contributes to it.
Look at that. Like, how are you going to tell me that's flat? Look at this. Charizard is literally carrying Magmar on his back, like around the very round globe. Like that's. Anyways.
Yeah. Anyways. But yeah, no. That was that's that. I guess. Gavin, it's been a while since you've been able to play in a Pokemon event. I know you were at San Antonio. It was your first event back. How was that?
It was all right. Weirdly normal. Like the events are well run. I don't get out super early. I wasn't used to like day one being only 8 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest with you, that was like, I know that that's normal now, but it doesn't feel normal. I don't know. The funny thing though was at one point, they did like in the loudspeaker say, video game master Gavin Michaels, please report to the Hive area. And I did not assume great things.
Coming for me again. Just taking me out.
And it turned out that my opponent had accidentally circled that I had won. You know what? So like it could have gone a lot worse.
It sounds like it could have gone a lot better too.
That's true.
Dude, you shouldn't have corrected that. You should have been like, yeah, no, that's right. I'll take it.
What no VGC player has ever just like falsified their match after someone circled the wrong thing.
No one would ever do that.
No one would ever do that.
But yeah, I mean that it's awesome to have you back. I think you said you finished top 256, right?
Yeah, I lost. Dude, it was so sad. I got paired down in the winning and got destroyed.
Oh damn.
It's like I can't even complain. I lost so badly. I got so outplayed, and it's like, I mean, I will complain, but it's like, dang.
Yeah. All right. So I guess we could talk about the tournament that happened this weekend. Next up, which is of course the global challenge. Excuse me. No longer the grand challenge.
It's called the Grand Challenge.
Yeah, the ones in Regulation H.
Did you, wait,
called
Gavin,
the
are you
Grand Challenge.
genuinely asking or no? I'm curious.
Why would I know this? I didn't get to play in those.
No, that's totally fair. So just to fill you in really quick, over the fall, we had a couple of grand challenges. They're the global challenges, but they don't include like Japanese players and players that earn their world's invites through non-championship point means, basically. And so it was just all the championship point earning regions in the grand challenge. And we had 3 of those over the course of the fall's part of the season. They played like basically normal, except the limited pool of entrants. And now we're back to global challenges. This one welcomed back, all the players that are earning their world's invites through, this is part of it, basically. And we have 4 of these instead of the 3. I broke this part down on Tubtics last time, so I won't go into all of it. But basically, instead of the top 150 for Japan, it's now top 120. There's 4 global challenges. And then, at the very end of these 4 global challenges, we'll have 1 more grand challenge again. Which is again going to be like, no Japan and whatnot, only championship point earning regions. That one will probably be in the next format as well. That one's going to be Reg I or whatever it's called. I mean, it's still weird to me that this one's called Reg G, but we're playing it after H, and also we only took like a 4-month break to come right back. It's stupid, anyways.
Right.
But yeah, we have grand and global challenges, and it's kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, just going back to the nomenclature point, now that you mention it, right? It's like last time they had this, they had Series 7 and then Series 9 and then Series like 11 and 13, oh, I forget what the other one was, 8 and 11, that were the same thing.
Yes.
And so they were still going up by 1, even though they were the same format, which I definitely think was confusing for people, as you can see, because I was just confused by it. But now you're right. It's going to be Regulation I, and we're going to go from G to I, and everyone's going to be like, what?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah. I was always saying, like, is this one going to be Reg GG, or is this one still going to be I? But I don't know if they've ever, like, I think they just call it G still. I think in official standpoints, I don't really know. I guess, like, it would be, like, whatever it says on, like, Battle Stadium or, like, in the rules or something like that. But I feel like it's just still called G, because I haven't heard anything else.
Yeah. Well,
They'll switch it back to... Sorry. They'll switch it back to H just to be extremely confusing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know.
The only solution is we go back to Regulation H.
Wait, do you guys not hear the rumor about Reg I is going to be?
What do you think it's going to be?
I'm ready for the bit.
It's right there in the name.
Yes, that's true. I have heard this bit, and it's an excellent one. Reg I, Reg G, like, it is so good. Somebody made like a Reg I. It was like a Reg I tier list, and it was ranking all the Reggies because
oh God,
well, that's just what it's going to be.
Save that thought for when it gets released and we have to start dropping tier lists. That'll be great. We'll copy it shamelessly.
Yeah. Just shamelessly steal it.
I think Reg Ice is probably way better than you think it'd be.
Well,
it tends to be.
It always does. It tends to be.
It would be it would be so funny if they did one of those like fun online tournaments as a troll to do with just all the Reggies and
There's only 5, right? Oh no, Draco. Oh wait, dude, doesn't Draco just smack them all?
We have Reg Ice. You have the 10,000 special defense.
Yes. AV, Terraghost, Regice will save us. Or Fairy if you really want. Actually, Fairy's perfect. Yes, no, Fairy's the answer. Okay. Because I was thinking you gotta account for body press from like steel and rock. And you can resist that with Fairy. So yeah, that's the meta. We've already broken it. Now we gotta figure out how to be a step ahead. Offensive Reggie Steel.
Well, what piece Reggie Elky? I guess it's just Reggie Drago. All right. Yeah.
Drago beats most of them.
Well, that's why I'm Terra Fairying my Reggie Elky, and I'm clicking Terra Blast with it. And then I'm losing to the Reggie Steel that clicks Ironhead.
It sounds like a very deep meta, and we're going to have to wait till it develops later down the line.
Okay.
Anyways, getting back to the GC that just happened. So like Alex mentioned, this is the first one that we've had where Japan can qualify for its nationals. Also, I think Korea, I think the other TPC regions do have a different process altogether. But
Right.
yeah, so this time it was interesting because you didn't know what placement you were at, and I know in Tub, as you can see, Carson did really well, Alex did really well. Y'all were trying to figure out what rating am I at? Am I safe to get that top 32 cutoff where you get a large number of championship points? And I was speculating that it was like top 50, but it turns out I saw Zach tweeted that he got top 32 in the GC at rank 120ish. Now they've given the championship points out to some people and not everyone, so I don't know if this is going to stand. But yeah, it is interesting that the bar is going to for top 32 is going to be a lot lower than we thought it was. It seems like, and that's largely because Japan as per usual, when they have the top 120 qualifying for their nationals, Japan is just most of the slots here, as you can see between number 11 and all the way down here. Almost every single player on this list is a Japanese player trying to qualify for their nationals, and they don't really have an incentive to push much higher than that, which is why everyone is within like a 6-point range here. So it's funny how that played out. And hopefully we can have a little more info as to the actual standings next week, where we can maybe talk about that a little more. But I do want to let Alex talk about his run, because you managed to get 10th place overall in the entire world with this really cool team. So yeah, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I think I want to speak to a bit of the structure about how we're playing with Japan here again, and that they are competing for different goals than us for top 120 for them, and we're competing for top 32 generally. And something that happened in my run that was so funny, so interesting to me, is that I encountered like the bubble. Not like a bubble, like bubbling in and out of a tournament, that terminology that we often use for regional level tournaments, but I mean like a point bubble where everyone was parking. It was hilarious. The game before my last, I was 1747, 68th place, like obviously it's going to be good enough for top 64. Surely there are some Japanese players above me. Probably not good enough for top 32, and that's what we just said, is the number to go for, top 32. So I queue up that one more, I win it, and I'm 7th. I moved up 61 spots, like from 68 to 7, with just that one win. And everyone that I've told this to is like, oh, you must have gotten a really good opponent. My opponent was 1685. They were just like a decent amount below me, nothing crazy. And yeah, I jumped just so many spots with just one win. It was hilarious. After talking with Carson, he had experienced similar, I think from 75 to 5th, like 70 spots at that one win. We found where Japan, and maybe some other players are caught in the mix too, but we found where Japan was all settling, parking, thinking it's good enough. And yeah, you can see Adi's hovering it there, the 120th being 1745. I guess that's just the, over under that. That's where everybody was just settling, and it goes crazy.
Yeah, there were 90 or so people. I was doing a quick count between 1746 and 1754. 90 people. So you could win one game and jump 90 slots potentially.
90 people in 9 points, you're saying?
Within 9 points, yeah.
90 people within 9 points. That is so crazy. Like that's so. Let's see. Okay, that's the funny part to me, is that like we have to kind of like reassess, how like queuing strategy and stuff like that. I'll try to run through this part quick, but I did like play 15 on day one, which isn't good. It's not good. You're not supposed to. But I played my first one and I lost, and I basically just had a really mediocre day one, to the point that I was like, well, I want to play my 15 on day one just to see if I can even like salvage this. This run is terrible. I'm gonna play it out just till I like feel good. And then I played the rest on Sunday and had a good enough win streak to finish, I think 29-10 overall. I think was my my win-loss, which doesn't actually seem as impressive as 10th place is. I don't know, like I'm only plus 19 or whatever. But anyways, talking about the team, I said Heatran was the MVP, and that was a big lie. I brought Heatran to like one game. Heatran was terrible, but I put it in slot 1, and you got to think about the mental warfare. You got to think about how everyone saw the first slot of my team was a Heatran, and they were like, "What's happening here? What kind of team could this possibly be that Heatran is the first guy?" And so that's the place you put Heatran. Is slot 1. It was Heatran budget Volcarona? I guess you could say that. It was meant to do exactly one thing: beat Zamazenta. I played, I think, 1 or 2 Zamazentas, and it did it.
Wait,
Go ahead.
what?
Oh, about it being Zamazenta?
Yeah.
Yes. So you Terrabug it. You are willing to commit Terrabug to it. The extra part about the Heatran that this is not an original tech. Somebody used this at San Antonio, right? And with the zoom lens set. I stole that exactly, put my own like whatever EV spread on it. But the idea, Gavin, is that Heavy Slam OHKOs the booster flutters that they use on these teams. And Magma Storm OHKOs the Chien Pows. That's the kind of fun aspect of this guy. And then Magma Storm or Will-O-Wisp, both good moves for making Zamazenta have a bad time. And that's pretty much the short of it. On top of that, it is immune to fire moves from Chi-Yu, which are commonplace on Zama teams currently. It doesn't do anything much back to the Chi-Yu, but it can at least like exist across from it for a good while.
That's
Yeah.
pretty fun.
I probably
shouldn't spend too much talking about this guy because he didn't do a lot. Go ahead, Adi.
No, yeah, this was popularized by Ismail and by Ryan at San Antonio. They both went 8-3 with the team. We touched on this last week, but no, it was a really cool tech, and we posted it in Tub, and we were kind of figuring out what exactly was going on with it, and yeah, I mean we looked at it and we said, well, Calyrex Ice, this composition of Calyrex Ice struggles with Zamazenta. What's the one stop for Zamazenta? Someone in chat said Volcarona. Honestly, I could see the slot being Volcarona as well in hindsight, but Heatran was really cool, and yeah, no, it was just it was a really cool choice. Zoomlens is a very funny item, and yeah, it did do really, really well into opposing Zama.
Yeah. I think the main thing is that like between Volk and Heatran is that they are probably equally. I guess Volk's probably even better into Zam. The thing is that like Volk doesn't one shot a Fluttermane, and it definitely doesn't one shot a Sash Tianpao. So that part was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, yeah, the rest of the team was actually the star of the show. All these guys were doing crazy stuff, and yeah, I'll probably try to keep it short here and maybe explain it a bit more in a stream later this week. But the basis of it was Calyrex Ice is a bit too predictable of a Pokemon, especially in the open team sheet metagame. So trying to do something a bit different to catch people off guard in closed team sheet was the goal, and that was the choice here was Assault Vest, so that it just ate up hits, and it did absolutely do that. On top of that, it had like very cursed coverage moves. I won like at least 2 or 3 games on turn 2 because I crunched the Shadow Rider turn 1 and they just let me have it. And they were just like, oh, I lose. C-Bomb, nice for the water types. And yeah, they were also like a little dissuaded from bringing their Intimidate Mons because of Annihilate. Annihilate was probably the other like the actual like MVP of the run. I think this set was like super demonic. Like there were times where they fell for its tricks like 3 times in the same game. Like I would close combat something, so they bring in both their ghost types, and then I rage fist that ghost type, and then they're like, okay, well I'm just gonna like I'll go for Tailwind now, like just to salvage this, like with their Volcarona, or Will-O-Wisp with their Volcarona, and then I taunt the Volcarona, and then I like if that happens to you, like how are you not breaking your Switch in half? Like they're just like, this guy has everything. He has everything, and that was what the Annihilate was. It just had everything. So, yeah, Sinistra and Indeedee are just there to keep the horse alive, and Iron Valiant is there for a second coaching option, but I usually did it in the back because I wanted to get value out of Encore and Disable. Usually you can't use Encore and Disable very well in the front because on turn 1 they haven't clicked a move yet, usually. And the other fun part is that I bluffed Wide Guard. I think they called me not using Wide Guard all but one time. Every time I played against an Ice Rider, they just high horsepowered my Valiant, and I was like, okay, cool, that's fine by me. And yeah, how was the Dozo Giri matchup? I actually did take one L to Dozo Giri. I had a good Dozo Giri matchup, but then I faced like Scarf, Rock Tomb, Urshifu, and Terra Steel Don Dozo. Like, I think I beat the conventional, I guess, Dozo Giri Shadow Rider builds right now, but can you plan for every single one in the GC? Absolutely not.
Yeah. I also used
yeah.
this team. I kind of gave up halfway through the GC. I was honestly, if I knew how low the bar was to get points, I probably would have played it out. But I lost a couple and was like mid 1600s and was like, yeah, I'm done. Whatever. I'm like rank 600. But no, I played like 4 or 5 Dozo and I beat every single one except for the one person who didn't bring Dozo into me. Just because on-core Disable Valiant is so good into it. It has a defense stat where it can take the attacks from it. And yeah, you just on-core disable it and it's sitting there struggling. Sinistra is really good into it because you're constantly getting healing and because it can't really KO Sinistra. And if they lock into Order Up to try to power through it, then you have a Valiant on the field and it's on-core into Order Up and it's not hitting that. And so, and then if they tear a grass, like you have a Caloric Ice. So like, yeah, no, it was and you get Heal Pulse on Indeedee. You have so many tools to beat Dozo. It was just really hard for those teams to power through you. It really came down to their other slots if they could find a way to win with those guys.
And yeah, other than that, like I don't really have anything like specific to mention about the team except like yeah, the Annihilate was very good. Sinistra and DD were also really good, and Heatran came to one game. But like the I think that there was a lot of strength in the team being built for best of one. Like there was probably some like solid runs from people using conventional best of 3 teams, but this team was made to exploit the fact that Iron Valiant usually runs wide guard, and so I'm gonna have an extra move to like cheat that. Everyone's playing around it. Everyone was like terrified of my Annihilate being Scarf Final Gambit, and so they would like protect or just Terra Ghost randomly, and I would just be like, all right, I don't know why you did that. I don't have Final Gambit. It was hilarious. This team is just so goofy, and it being my best like online competition run is kind of frustrating because I definitely came into this like with very little hope or prep. I was just like, all right, I'm doing something stupid and goofy, and it worked very, very well. Sad that I couldn't stream the run, but I also don't think I would have done nearly as successful if I did. So,
yeah. And the rental code is on screen, so if you want to try this team out, you're free to do so.
yeah.
And
I love that Annihilate. Like it's.
Yeah.
I feel like throughout all of Generation 9, we've seen so many iterations and different ways to build it, and it's rarely taken the top spot, but it's always there and something you always need in mind.
I just saw now, I think, like, I've been looking at the Liberty Note page a couple of times, and did they update it now with, I'm not even the best Annihilate in the competition? I think somebody finished above me with Annihilate? Like, come on. Unbelievable. I'm so sad. I swear I saw it earlier.
Yeah, Joe 64.
2 places above me? Joe has an Annihilate too? Come on.
Dude, Joe 64 sounds like one of those like old speedrun names from a Summoning Salt video. You know what I mean? Like
I was thinking it's like, the next Joe, like Joe's several generations later, like Joe UX 64.
Dude, there's no shot anyone puts the number 64 in their name if they didn't like grow up with a Nintendo 64, right?
100%.
Yeah, I mean that or they're 60 years old, which I'm not betting on. But yeah, no, they are also a Western player, and that was kind of the dynamic that we kind of expected to see was most of the top 10, most of the people pushing for those top slots would be players who were trying to get as many championship points as possible, and then like I mentioned, it's just all of the lower slots. The next 100 slots are basically all Japanese players, and so. Yeah, cool to see. This one I would also assume is Final Gambit, but then again, that's how they get you. So
Yep, that's what I love. I think Annihilate is absolutely a CTS merchant. I think Iron Valiant is a CTS merchant. I think Heatran definitely makes people question what the hell is going on. But if they saw the most recent tournament, I am just using that Heatran. So. Yeah, looking at some of the teams that did well, though, I gotta say, like, great weekend for Calyrex Ice if you just kind of like scroll through like fast. Like there, like a lot of like the top teams do feature Ice Rider. Shout outs to Topo for almost taking it all the way. It was I know that he had first for a while, but he was also kind of like very public about having first and where he was. So whoever was chasing knew exactly what they had to beat, and unfortunately did just that.
Yeah. I mean, he's a CTS merchant, right? Like he's always laddering. He was in the top 10 of the in-game ladder for a decent chunk of last month in January. And so I'm not surprised at all to see that sort of paying off, especially when I think this format in particular, playing closed team sheet and playing open team sheet is so unbelievably different. And I mean, at least from what I've seen and from talking to you, Alex, and when we were laddering together with Terapagos, and when we were just kind of just talking about how to approach the format, recognizing what your opponent is trying to do is so key in this format because it's so easy to get cheese, and so much of your damage comes from like one source that losing it early is such a big deal. Letting your opponent get their gimmick off is such a big deal, and so when you're facing someone like Topo who has played that much, I feel like he's seen it all, and he's gonna have that recognition down.
Yeah, definitely. He's got that book. I always thought that was the coolest thing when he posted that video of him like opening a book and being like, "Oh, this person runs Imprison Trick Room," and so he like went with his anti-Imprison Trick Room counterplay. They went for Imprison, and it worked perfectly. And he's just like he literally has like a death note of like people with anti-Trick Room counterplay. So it's so sick.
Yeah. The other thing that really did well this weekend was Dozo. Was not something that's been doing extremely well in best of three tours, but you see Carson getting top 8 here, and then I think there was another one that was relatively high up. We see Calc BGC up here with Dozo, another Japanese. I think this is a Japanese player using Dozo with Miraidon. Another one right here. Like there was a whole lot of Dozo, and again, that's one of those Pokemon that it can do a lot of different things. It can run a lot of different sets, have a lot of different items, and so I'm not surprised to see a whole lot of Dindozo in the top tables here.
Yep.
Yeah, even beyond.
Wait, what the?
Yeah, that's Golurk.
What? That's a Golurk.
Hold on.
There's no reason to use this thing. What are those moves? Go on, Gavin.
Have you considered that they're sick with it?
Not 100%.
Doesn't he get skill swap?
It's not running it.
It.
It's got high horsepower, some kind of ghost type attack, I assume, protect, and then I can't remember what. Is that Tebasuke? No, my Japanese is rusty, so and it's not katakana anyway, so I wouldn't be able to tell you the translation.
Hold up, I got an app for this.
That is. Is it like a really bad one? Because like I have a really bad one.
No, I just use
It's so funny.
I just use my phone's translate app. I think it's Helping Hand because it just says help.
Okay. That would track because Fari Giraffe has the same move. I should have just done the classic, ACT testing example. Look for, which the draft does have protect too. That actually does. That's the kind of counter, or that's the type of thing that will catch you off guard in closed team sheet.
This actually, what I was gonna say with Dozo, in not just OMTG format, like obviously I've been playing this format less than most everyone else here, but what strikes me is that it feels like every restricted does have like a couple of ways that you can just totally cheese it, and that you can run like some really obscure tech mons to beat it, but Dozo is really easy to mold into whatever Techmon you need to. And yeah, it takes like 2 slots, but maybe it feels like a bit more consistent, or it can cover like multiple things at the same time. I will say, during the GC, I was running Life Orb Earthquake Dondozo, because fun fact is that if you run Jolly, you outrun an Oko Miraidon with it. Like, with the commander boost, as long as you're like modest.
Yep.
And it's like, I don't know, you can take those out to do anything you want it to.
Speaking of, in this list, is it mostly Dozo Giri, or is there any solo Dozo too? Because that's definitely been picking up a bit lately.
Good question.
I think I saw some. I think I saw maybe an Ice Rider Dozo Ting Lu team. I don't remember. There's a Elizabeth
There's two.
There's a
used
couple right
a
here.
Zamazenta Dozo Ting Lu team.
Mhm.
Yeah, those ones are kind of doing similar things. These Dragonites, by the way, there's like several Dragonites that are just not normal. Like you can click on the one there above Adi that I think it's from Lawnfop.
Lawnfop? Oh, I love Lawnfop.
Next to Rizbit.
The shift tree.
So like look at the Dragonite. Because that's Rocky Helmet Dragonite with I think that's extreme speed still, a Terra Normal. But it's probably got like Tailwind, Aerial Ace, and Thunderwave, I think, if I had to get, or maybe it has Roost. I think actually some of these run Roost. Yeah, it's nuts. Like Dragonite, I guess, is like another CTS Pokemon. I think most people don't allow themselves that level of creativity when they think of this Pokemon and like all the things that it can do. But like, look at that. That managed to make it all the way to 1750s, a top 50-ish finish with Rocky Helmet Dragonite. Like, I just wouldn't even know how to respond. That is just, that set seems so insane.
We say CTS, but it's like this type of stuff could totally work in open team sheet. It's just that like I have no idea what it does, and I would need to see it in practice in order to do it. And I think that because it is in like a closed team sheet type of format, I think my brain immediately goes to disrespecting it, which it probably shouldn't do. Like that's probably a bad bias on my end, you know.
I think that the online competitions are a great source of like unexplored ideas. Like you want to figure out the ideas that yes, they only worked because they surprised the opponent versus the ones that are like this person was trying to do something different and you can just, adapt that to best of three. Like, this Dragonite, I'm gonna lean on the side that it's probably better in closed team sheet. But maybe I queue it up on the best of three ladder, and it turns out that it's just like really strong in a number of situations that I could not have possibly foreseen coming because I never even thought that set was an option. And these types of tournaments, they like put those ideas out into the world for you to at least consider. I think Marco Fierro's Jump Bluff Sun team started out as a best of one team built by a Japanese player. The one in Regulation H, and there's a number of teams that started out that way. I think Elizabeth also had a very solid, team built for best of one that did well in Reg H, the Sinistra one. That one I used that one a lot, and I believe that also started out as a best of one team, got adapted for best of three open team sheet, but just changing the game and how we think about it. Basically,
wasn't Scale Shot Dragonite like the entire concept originally a best of one idea? And then people realize like this is actually cracked. Like,
yep,
it's crazy. Like legitimately, no, absolutely, I agree.
Became a staple.
We see this all the time, legitimately all the time, where we see these ideas being adapted to best of three. So I really do think that, some of this stuff obviously I think has less applicability. Like you probably should run wide guard on your Iron Valiant in open team sheet.
I know.
But on the other hand, like if it wasn't for like. There's a lot of these things that I think have probably are underappreciated in best of three. It'll be interesting to see which of these ideas get adapted, which of these ideas are even public. Curious about this one too. Scarf Ninetales, okay.
And then you have like Zine down at 56, where it's just like, okay, cool. You can just roll up with the world's winning team and still do it. Like maybe you do trick it out in some ways that it's like, oh, actually that's Choice Band or Shifu. Like that's like a bit of a difference there, and then some other minor text that might catch people off guard. But otherwise, this is just like one change on the world's team. At a glance. The Giraffe also does have Protect. I see that again. Protect Giraffe going off.
You also got to be as good as Zine, though.
100%.
That's the hard part.
Dude, the Mons below scene, there's some really good ones, Adi. Iron
Yeah,
Leaves there with Treads.
yeah.
Um,
It's Electric Seed Chandelure, and I don't know what that's supposed to do. I feel like it dies to Urshifu. I don't know.
are you able to pull up that clip that you posted of the shift tree or no?
Oh, let me see if I can pull it up. I think I played the shift tree, and I think Z said they played the shift tree as well. And it is trying to explode. It is here. Let me see. I
Normal
ha-
gem.
yeah. How do I open? Oh, can I open this in a new tab? No, you just get to see my Facebook. That's
I
fine.
think no.
You just get to see
Oh.
my Facebook. Uh, this is my experience against shift tree. And this is also how I upload
This is
all of my
awesome.
clips. It's clicked Tailwind and had Wind Rider. And then it just exploded. Terra normal, explosion with normal gem.
Adi didn't wide guard because he's so stupid, and
'Cause I was,
also because he doesn't have it.
and yeah, it just destroyed my board. And then they brought in a Kyogre with Tailwind up and won the game. It was nuts. Yeah.
I'm at Adi on Facebook so I can see the clips. I
No.
had a Switch Twitter for exactly this, but they took it away. It was so sad.
Thanks, Elon.
No, Adi, I appreciate you trying to bring back Facebook gaming.
Literally,
You know it.
the only thing I use Facebook for nowadays is it's the easiest way to get my clips from my Twitch onto onto my computer, from my Switch onto my computer, other than plugging in a capture card, which I don't want to have to do all the time. So I just upload them to Facebook, and they're all uploaded privately, so you're not making any money off of them. I think I don't actually know if that's true. Anyways, yeah. I don't know. Some cool stuff in the GC. I'll drop this link in Twitch chat if you want to check out the Liberty Note, because they've been compiling all of these teams. I don't think they have all of the teams yet, but hopefully they're going to keep working on it, and this will continue to be updated as people make their teams public. Congratulations to everyone who did well. There's a Rayquaza. Ooh, that's cool. Congrats to everyone who qualified for Japan Nationals, and congrats to everyone who did well in the GC. Gavin, I know you said you played it. Do you want to talk about your GC run at all?
Yeah, sure. I can I can just send over the bin you wanted. This was
Sure.
like a pretty lazy version of something that I was iterating on for a bit. I'm not super happy with the final version, but there's a lot of funny stuff in here. Mainly Sableye. So you have Sableye Turtle Dozogiri is like the funny idea here. Shout out to Dawe for helping me come up with the Dozogiri on it, but the idea is that with Quash, you can make it so that a lot of lower restricteds that mainly struggle because they can't win the speed war outright. Right? Like part of the issue with something like a Specs Terapagos is you can't degenerately run Whimsicott Terapagos, because if you run into Whimsicott Miraidon, you get owned. So you squash them. And people also don't know that Sableye gets Encore, which for the GC was really funny. I locked a lot of people into a lot of things.
Encore is just goated in close team sheet. It really is.
Yeah. This was very rough. There's a lot of things here that were not good. The Ogre Pawn did not fit the pace of it. Neither did really the Iron Hands. I ended up doing much better when I just sort of degenerately started leading Dondoso Terapagos every game. Because it's so annoying to just think about it, right? It's all right, do you let the Dozo get the free attack, or do you let the Specs Terapagos get the free attack?
Yep.
But yeah, so I got to 1695, which was all right. Probably my best official performance in a while, actually. Now that I think about it, but yeah.
By the way, no one told me that I was using the wrong microphone. That y'all were, I guess everyone on Discord could hear me through my actual microphone, but I was apparently talking into my laptop. Thank you for pointing that out finally in chat. I appreciate it. Hopefully this audio sounds a little better. Okay, so yeah, that's the GC. Was there anything else that we wanted to quickly talk about for the GC?
No, I did a quick scan to see if there's any more notable teams, and I think the one at 80th is probably worth a quick shout. I just thought that that one was like one of the coolest teams I saw come out of this GC. It was just like Lunala chilling with like rain offense, and it also had a mouse hold. And it definitely looks like a team that, you're not going to have like preconceived game plans into. Like, yeah, there's a lot of Pokemon here that are common and strong. But you have to like, I think about, is this Lunala going to wide guard on me? Is this like a Calm Mind like setup Lunala? Is it going to set Trick Room? Like it actually ends up just being Power Herb. But Lunala, another solid, restricted Pokemon that can do a couple of different things in closed team sheet. On top of that, like, just Mousehold, another good one. A lot of options available to it, and yeah, it just looks like a really like conventional but weird team that I just liked the look of it.
And this just makes me realize that in the first round of Regulation G, Pelipper was super popular for a while because it had Wide Guard and was just a really good support Pokemon. The second time around, I feel like I've barely seen it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, like, with all the sun around, if it's going to like start to come back or not. Like, there's the Groudon teams are doing well now. Does Pelipper want to, show up to like really make Groudon sad?
Hold up.
I
I know how we can find out about this. Go ahead.
True.
I think you can also see, once you pull this up, you can see the curve really mirror Terapagos. Where I think like Pelipper was really around when like I don't know, like when Terapagos and also Ice Rider I think were more premier threats, and like Ice Rider coming back a bit, so maybe we see the Wide Guard coming up a bit, but I don't know. I think that for the past couple of months, right, the big threat has been Miraidon, which like feels bad to bring Pelipper into.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I also think that, Pelipper on Zama teams, we see it making top cut at San Antonio here, but that was something that has kind of dropped off. It really is just on Ice Rider teams, and people have been experimenting with a lot of different types of Ice Rider teams, but I don't know. These are pretty good placements, all things considered. Obviously, not it wasn't on the winning team, but I don't know. This is still 4 in top 32 of San Antonio, which is pretty good representation, all things considered.
And also they're like, I don't know, they're not players that you expect to necessarily be there. Like, which I mean in like a lot of respect, in a way of like, I don't know, if a really good player gets like top 32 with something, I kind of don't pay it any mind, But it's like the thing of like, okay, if this is someone I don't know, maybe they're way better than I know them to be, right? Or it's like I don't know anything about them, maybe they're just really good, or maybe their team's really good and like did super good for them. So it's like that's where it requires a bit more of like a closer investigation.
Right. No, absolutely. And I mean, like we said earlier, that's how we got the idea for Heatran, was seeing two players go 8-3 with Zuma and Heatran, and just being like, oh, that's really cool. If, Justin Tang goes 8-3, we look at it and we say, well, he can go 8-3 with anything. He should be doing better. But when players we don't recognize go 8-3, I definitely take note a little more.
What, you mean you didn't take note of Aaron Traylor going 8-3 with standard Miraidon?
I did, because he was the highest placing Arabega player in the tournament.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. All right. So there's a couple other things. I know I got Labmaus pulled up. We're going to talk about this in a second, but there's two other things I want to quickly touch on because Alex tweeted about it this week, which is, first off, there's a couple things that haven't been announced yet that we really are waiting for, and we really should have had announced already. The first of which is the last regional location. We know there is one more NA regional. We think it's in Portland. We don't know that for sure. And it'd be really nice if the location and the date was officially announced so people could, start to plan out the rest of their seasons. That's just really important, especially for me. I need to go to 3 more events. One of those is Nationals. One of those is Milwaukee. I'd really like to know where the last regional of the season is so I can decide what event I want to go to. It's very frustrating that this hasn't been announced yet.
It's like not even the first month of 2025 anymore. We are into the second month in 2025, and yeah, it's just ridiculous. At this point, it does start to like bring to mind like worrying questions, like could it have been canceled? Are they having issues with the venue space that they tried to rent or something? Like what is actually and what is actually going on? Nerd said I talked to someone who's a bit more in the know. They're pretty sure it'll be canceled. Yeah, like I'm curious. Like I mean, they need to tell us. Are they like gonna add another event to the schedule to make up for it? Or I guess they probably can't. They probably don't have time for that because this is just all so late.
Well,
This is just kind of crazy.
you say that, but from what I heard, and this has never been confirmed, but I heard that like the regional that was in Fresno in 2023 was not originally supposed to be in Fresno, and then the original location fell through, so they put it in Fresno, and so maybe we will see the return of Fresno regionals. I don't know, or something like that.
Yo, I would
Uh,
much rather fly to Fresno than drive just an hour, in 2 hours for me to Portland. Yeah, that sign me up.
yeah, sign me up. I'd love there to be a California regional.
Shut up, man. Don't take this from me. This is supposed to be my driving regional. I mean, like,
Where's
yeah, I don't
my
have to
driving
defend it, I
regional?
guess.
Oh, Sacramento? That didn't exist this year. We all know that.
Yeah, you're right. 100%. Move it to Seattle. That would be you know what? I can live with that. Like TPCI's headquarters are here. Come on. Bring back Players Cup? Wait, that's just a wildly different direction, Pokemon Ranger Emerald. I'm not even like that against it, but like I'm doing Vancouver, of course I'll buy it. Like I have one. Is it greedy to want two? I guess, yeah. Sure. I came from Chicago and I could drive to like five. Uh that was because it's the Midwest and I had a car, but
Also,
now I'm so tucked away in the corner.
the championship points count 25% less in Vancouver, so it kind of sucks.
Exactly. I don't know if you guys saw the news, but like I don't even know if I'm getting all of my like do I get a world's win or like or a world's qual or most of a world's qual if I win Vancouver?
Um, the Colorado players are just happy San Antonio is a short flight, right? Yeah, like it's oh man, I only got 2 regionals to drive to. It's such an entitled take when you live in most of the country. But
Colorado
that
has like state laws against it, right? That's the reason we don't have any
For
video game
Seattle?
events there. It's like e-poker
Mhm.
Mhm.
or something,
Yeah,
where it's like that's why they had like TCG only events there before.
yep. Pokemon Ranger Emerald. I'm making a jest about the tariff situation. Um, and then moving on, but just wanted to bring that to people's in case anyone from Play Pokemon is watching, today would be a great day to announce this. And then the other thing that I saw this on the timeline earlier. 75% of the season has passed since we were told that there would be a championship point season reward program. That will operate similarly to the fixed CP threshold from recent years. Does anyone have any guesses about what this is? Because we have no information.
I like literally I'm reading it and I still can't even imagine like conceptually what they are offering here.
Is it not just the thing where they like send you a card at the end of the season?
Like they're just gonna give you like a thanks for playing card. Is that what you're
I mean,
saying?
y'all have gotten like the trading cards in like the mail before, right? For like,
No, is this like some
No.
boomer thing, Gavin?
oh, you guys didn't get this before? No, I
That
definitely
or
got.
it's like an elaborate bit. What is this? Go ahead.
No, I got
Fill
like
us
I
in.
think it was a Cyrus for like participating in the Play Pokemon event. Hold on, let me see if I can
At a
pull it.
regional?
No, it was like in the mail. Like it was like sent to like my address. I swear this was a real thing.
Those are like the cards they give out at the like for attending a regional, and I know that like at least one year they like ran out of them at one event, and they said they would mail it to us, and that's the only time I've gotten a card in the mail like that.
Oh god, is it just from that? Maybe it was just that. Dude, honestly, that wouldn't even surprise me.
Maybe.
I don't know, that's still my best bet. Just they should just mail us cards.
I mean, but by the way, they've stopped doing the like fantasy games for internets. At least they didn't do it for the Latin American internets. I hope they bring it back for EUIC, because those were just free Pokemon boxes. I got a free box just for like participating in the NA one, and you just pick the top 6 Pokemon in usage, and you get a box of cards at the end of the day. It's pretty sick.
What did we get for one of these, Audie? I should have it sitting around here.
Oh, I
the
can.
most recent.
I got a box and I got a Landorus plush, and I have the Landorus plush here and
The
the box.
Landorus. It was Landorus, dude. I had it up here.
Related to what we were just talking about with the tariffs, apparently Pokemon cards will be affected by the tariffs. So it's like, oh no.
No, like for
Oh
real.
my gosh! Wait,
I-
really? That's crazy.
I know. I follow some Yu-Gi-Oh players, and a lot of like professional Yu-Gi-Oh players. Also, like in order to do this professionally, in the same way that like Pokemon VGC players coach or whatever, I guess they also offer coaching. Sorry, I'm rambling, but these guys they will also just buy and sell cards, right? They vend cards because they need to get all the latest cards basically on release to compete at these tournaments. And you might as well just be a vendor while you're dealing with this because you're going to all these events anyways. But now, yeah, if you live in Canada and you're doing this as like your job, you are also impacted by this. And so, I mean, I said we shouldn't talk politics because I will rant the entire stream about politics. But yeah, it is such a stupid decision impacting so many people in a negative way and no one in a positive way. So with that, let's move on.
Does this mean I won't be able to like trade Pokemon with Rafa anymore?
Yeah, well, you just gotta your Pokemon.
You gotta give him a little something extra.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I don't know. Like, imagine like your friends like sending over a version exclusive. Like, do you have to pay like a tax? Like, you just have to get like a really bad version exclusive. Like, what's 25%?
You have to have like your version exclusive has to have like perfect IVs. They can send whatever.
You can.
I don't know, dude. I feel like an Iron Hands is 25% of a Raging Bolt.
You can no longer transfer Pokemon over from the Crown Tundra. It's not allowed. And in fact, they are trying to deport Calyrex, and so it's actually banned from VGC events now. I heard rumors that some Calyrexes are Terra Firing and claiming to be Rapidashes. That's not true. If you see anyone Terra Firing the Calyrex, please report them to the ICE.
Cali Ice, no.
Oh my
Anyways,
god, I can't believe Calyrex joined Ice.
Now it makes me seem like the bad guy for using Ice Rider when Shadow Rider is absolutely the bad guy. Don't get it twisted. That is the canon bad guy. Like, there's just no way a Pokemon of that combination could be.
Wait, hold on. Can you call someone who like really supports deportations in Ice Rider?
No.
Like, think about it. I feel like you can.
But yeah, I don't know what the heck this stupid reward program thing is going to be, but we can move on from that because like there isn't really anything to say about it. I definitely think it will just fizzle. I think it is going to be like they might even like after seeing that tweet be like, oh yeah, we need to take that off the website.
No, I just come over to the top 15 championship points house and do a little dance. It was one of the conditions for my unban.
Oh, that makes sense.
I heard that's also why Case got unbanned.
Yes, the dance, the unbanned dance.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Oh, I thought it was because of the Wolfie incident. All right. Moving on. So the last thing I wanted to talk about today is we got Tim on, and Gavin is of course a data scientist, right? And I do data work as well. And so yeah, we wanted to talk about some stats, talk about Labmaus, and how you can use stats to improve your game. Because we got the experts at that. And so, Tim, I guess to start things off, do you want to tell us about like how Labmaus got started and what your idea originally was?
Yeah, sure. So this started back in Gen 8, which was when I kind of got started in VGC. And it started off just with a few small Discord groups where I played a few small tournaments and a few draft leagues. And it consistently came up that a lot of these small tournaments online, which Man, Gen 8, while it was still recent, it feels like the online tournament scene really was the Wild West because we didn't really have a well structured way of doing it. It was mainly through Battlefy,
Mhm.
but we didn't really have good ways of finding tournaments without joining specific discords. And and whenever people finished tournaments, this was before open team sheets, so none of that data was available. So uh, yeah, after doing some of those tournaments, some people would try to post or top usages for, say, top 8 Pokemon that were used during the tournament. And I was just consistently trying to gather this information because I was just curious. It's like, I want to see more. I want to see not just what were the top Pokemon, what were the top cores, what were some of the top items, what is good. A lot of a lot of that stemmed from Picolytics, which is great for, well, Picolytics isn't really used that much anymore. I don't think they usually keep up to date, but that was great for Pokemon Showdown. But I felt like the tournaments impacted Showdown more than Showdown impacted the tournaments, and so I wanted to be able to gather that data to be able to predict, hey, how is the next tournament going to change? And so that was one of the main reasons I started on it. It was originally just a Discord bot that I had kind of thrown together, and I had called. Uh, Again, it was Gen 8, so it was before Mousehold, so I had named it Bracketaka.
It's pretty
The
good.
stack bracket. Yeah,
I miss Stack Attacker so much. That guy's awesome.
it was a good one.
Shit.
But that over time grew once Gen 9 came around. Then I was able to diversify a bit because then we moved on to open team sheets as well as Limitless started becoming popular. This really would not have been possible without the open team sheet change. But once Limitless came around, then that gave me a good source of consistent information where I could pull tournaments. And then the Discord bot gradually grew and grew until it hit, I think it was over 100 different Discords. And then it ran into some problems and completely broke. And that was just due to some restrictions that Discord had on what you could use with their REST API. And I had been tinkering around with the site, just the concept. And once the Discord bot broke, I thought, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna commit to making the site. So that is kind of what got us to this point. So that brought in the initial site. There's been lots of interesting developments, lots of extra features I've been able to work on the last uh, year and a half, I guess now.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's grown far larger than I ever expected. It started off as just like a fun side project and did not expect it to. I mean, it's basically one of the top resources that a lot of people use for team building now. And so I'm still blown away by that.
Yeah, there is just so much information. Like, this is just the San Antonio page, obviously. There is so much information packed onto here that, like, everyone should be using. Um, and I mean, obviously, you got the teams here, and you can search for individual Pokemon to find the teams. But then you also have data on every single Pokemon here, and you know, if you click on them, oh my God, you can see their item usage, their teammate usage, their win rate against every single other Pokemon in the field. And like you can kind of see all the stats that we have here. I love every single tournament. I will sort by win rate, and I will look at, you know, what are the top win rate Pokemon. We were talking about Heatran. I'm pretty sure we saw Heatran because of this site and because it's the number one win rate Pokemon at San Antonio. And that's like why it caught our attention right away. There's just so much cool stuff on here. Do you have like a favorite feature or something that people, you know, maybe should be looking at more?
I feel like people often forget that there is the top cut filter.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you can easily say top 32 and it will just update all the data. So yeah, now all the usage rates and advance rates, win rates, everything adjusts for only what was in the top 32. And I feel like people often just forget about that.
Mhm.
Same thing with items is a very interesting one that people kind of take a glance at and they say, okay, yeah, all this makes sense. But prior to Regulation G, I don't think people realized just how popular Assault Vest was. Because in this tournament, if you look at the overall results, it had 73% usage. And I think prior to the focus sash being number one makes sense because you have so many strong hitters now and you just want to try to live something. But prior to that, pretty much all of Generation 9, Assault Vest has been number one at around 80% in every single tournament, or at least every single notable tournament.
Damn.
Yeah. No, it was like I think on before Worlds last year, it was like I think Alex actually you were like the only person in top 32 of Nats without Assault Vest on your team or something like that.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. Uh I do got one bone to pick with you on this because I do
Okay.
really like this resource.
hmm
I hate win percentage as a stat in VGC.
It's not like win rate or.
Yeah, win rate.
Yeah, that's why I also included, if you try to filter by like day 2, I also included the uh the advance rate for what percentage of Pokemon moved on to that to like day 2.
So is there
I
a way
do.
to get that? Is there a way to automatically? Oh, advanced rate. So this is if I filter to top 32. This tells me the percentage of Pokemon that made it to top 32. Is that right?
Correct, yes.
Okay. Cool.
So it's not completely accurate because it works well for Pokemon below that threshold. How do I explain it? If there is a huge amount of, say, Urshifu Rapid Strike, then that's not quite as accurate because only so many can make it into top 32. But it works very well for Pokemon that are at lower usage, like Ting-Lu,
Yeah.
because there's only so many that are actually like a very small handful, and if a lot of them make it in, then a high advance rate like that is much more notable.
Can I pitch to you what I think? This is something that I've done for the past 4 years now when doing this stat poll by myself. What I think the most
Mhm.
meaningful stat in VGC is uh,
Okay.
net wins, which is just number of wins minus number of losses. The advantage to that is it allows you to make more comparisons between low usage and high usage Pokemon, where you're basically saying, hey, the net win is sort of like how underused this Pokemon is. So, for example, right? Heatran is the number one Pokemon by win rate in San Antonio with a 64.8% win rate. It also has 16 more wins than losses.
Mhm.
That's really impressive and comparable to Urshifu Water, which has, I believe, 20 more wins than losses.
Mhm.
But this is the thing of where win rate can be a little bit deceptive, right? Lunala, which I used and don't think is particularly great, has a higher win rate than Urshifu Single Strike, right?
True. Yep.
But it only had 7 more wins than losses compared to Urshifu's 27.
Mhm.
Or sorry, that's the Urshifu Single Strike I'm looking at. Whatever, still same thing. We'll count it for me. So I would argue that Urshifu Single Strike overperformed its usage more than Lunala. And I'd even say that Urshifu Single Strike overperformed relative to even Heatran, since even though Heatran did do very well in the smaller sample, I'm not willing to say that Rhydon was the second best Pokemon of the tournament, you know?
Mhm. No,
I
I
mean, I
completely.
am.
No, I completely agree, and it's the higher the usage rate of a Pokemon, the closer that win rate tends to get to 50%, just because of the sheer quantity of them, as well as when you have to deal with Urshifu facing Urshifu, that it's not the best statistic to be pulling the information, which is why I also tried to include the advance rate. And I'm sure that there's a few other ways. I was experimenting when I was originally developing the site, a few different ways to display that information. And I came up with the same issues as you. I just didn't have an idea of what would be the best way.
It all really depends on what questions people are trying to answer, which is like always the tricky part, right? Of like,
Exactly.
because like when you're saying your job, because it's like there's different jobs of providing the data versus like telling people what the important like thing is and like guiding them to that.
Mhm.
And I don't know, they're different things to do, right? It's a thing of like how much of an opinion do you want to have versus just showing it. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I think like the consolidation of information here is just really excellent and just like actually gets people thinking about it. Like I think especially like the I don't know. Like I think like just the simple visuals for Pokemon's usage over time is so helpful. I also really like the that you can filter like from just official tournaments like for that you do like the time series just based off of like the index number the tournament is. So it's like okay.
Mhm.
Audie, I'm trying to see how I can get to show you what I'm seeing here.
What do you want to do?
Okay, click on Urshifu Rapid Strike on the left.
On here.
Like
In the far left column.
on the far left column.
Oh.
Right.
Oh, sick. I don't think I've ever done this before already.
Really?
I might have.
This is like a big part of the site.
Go up. Go up to the filters.
Yeah.
Filter by type. Official. Regulation G.
Okay. And then presumably
And
You might
then
need to change
do
the
the
time
date
frame.
range from as far back as you want. Yeah, from there, right?
Yep.
You probably also need to change the number of tournaments.
Okay.
Yeah, but by default it'll only show 8, so you can increase that to like 50.
Yeah, or however many like feels useful here. This I think is such a smart way of just showcasing that it over time. Where you can see it's just like you say that and you measure time by number of tournaments, which I think is a really smart detail here because that really is like how it progresses, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
And you can see that just massive spike around Worlds and then like the sort of like plateauing since then. It's like it's genuinely interesting, you know?
It was
Are
really
the,
cool.
I was gonna say, is the tournament standings graph supposed to look like Urshifu's eyebrows or whatever, like the little like pointy things he has? I don't know if that's intentional by design. No,
Oh,
go ahead.
yeah. The tournament standings is a little weird one. I wanted to include that data, but it definitely is a little skewed based off of tournament size. But what I was going to say was that this the usage rates is really interesting when you see Pokemon like Palafin, when you really saw it drop in usage, and you could see the gradual there's a difference between placements and usage, and you can kind of see those differences over time.
Mhm. This is also really cool to see the item choice on Urshifu and how almost everyone is running Choice Scarf, and then all of a sudden, after NAIC going into Worlds, everyone switched, or not everyone, but like a majority of people switched over to Focus Sash, which is also I wish I had discovered this earlier. I did not realize this was a feature. And it now ever since then, yeah, just everyone's been running Focus Sash. It's been the most common item by far.
And I think
So
like
we had a
that-
couple
yeah, go for it.
things in chat that I wanted to address. Basically, just first off, Poxa, do you guys think that we'll ever go away from open team sheet? And it's a big question mark because like they've built a lot of systems around it right now, and it does some healthy elements to the game. But it was largely, I think, added because the lack of battle box locking in Scarlet and Violet. If they don't have a battle box locking feature in the next game, then I would say 100% we're keeping open team sheets. If they do add one, I'm a bit more 50-50. That's a good point to bring that up, Adi, that they did put out this, though this doesn't have anything to do with team sheets necessarily.
That's true.
This is a survey that they put out that they were talking about. It's probably worth talking about on the show here, but they said for VG regionals, please rank the following tournament formats from most preferred to least preferred. And yeah, they list like double elim, single elim, as well as best of one and best of three. And I don't know if we want to save that for another episode or not, but regardless, it seems like they are, as this generation is coming to a close, thinking about, how they are going to continue to run tournaments. They've already made several big changes, like, the one Gavin mentioned earlier, he comes back to tournaments and we're playing 8 rounds day one with the different form of day two. It seems like they are willing to experiment with things. So regardless, though, Open Team Sheet's probably sticking around, and that brings me back to something I wanted to ask Audie and Gavin. This is about like our more about our like personal team building, but I remember back in the Players Cup when we had the Players Cup, that was the first time we were doing Open Team Sheet tournaments like officially, right? That introduced it because we were playing online at home, and I remember that I don't remember which one of you two or if it was a group after effort, but we came to the conclusion after one of the Players Cups that like Urshifu had like the highest win rate, and we were like, this was like somewhat like secret data, like like somebody would have to like have looked at all the teams and compiled them in a way that's just not easy to do by hand, but you guys made the numbers work for you, came to the conclusion that Water Ursh was the play, and we ended up like using that to some degree of success. I was curious if I guess I don't know, I don't really know what the story, what the point of the story is. I'm just kind of like trying to think of like how that like kind of like ties into the tools that we have now. You guys were kind of just doing that manually. Now it's also accessible.
Yeah.
Like that's like this being available for anyone to go ahead and use is like, I don't know, it kind of it's like Pokemon's been on a trend for a long time of consistently getting more accessible, and it's that players can become good without needing to just like be friends with other good players, And it's like, because back in the day that used to be like the only way that you'd actually learn what was good. And it's just, I don't know, continued forward progress in that regard, I think.
Right.
Besides like this.
And Open Team Sheet has reduced the barrier to entry so much because one, all the information is public right away. So in the past, you would have to potentially wait a month or 2 months to see the full Open Team Sheet from the top 8 players at a tournament. And now, I mean, like I remember going to tournaments and not knowing what the people in Top Cut were using. I remember before like the finals of one regional, someone was asking me like, hey, do you know what item so and so has on their Pokemon before their finals matchup? Like that's the sort of thing that just isn't available, and where networking was so valuable. Open Team Sheet removes that entirely, and it means that if you didn't go to the tournament, you didn't watch the tournament, now you can see the entire team, you can try the entire team. And then also it means that you don't need to know every single move that every single Pokemon learns. And that information barrier is one of the biggest barriers to entry in competitive Pokemon. And so removing that is also really huge for the game, which is why I don't think that we will ever see Open Team Sheet go away. I think that's, even though I would love to see the return of closed team sheets tournaments, or at least closed team sheet day one Swiss, I think would be really cool. It's just not going to happen because it is makes Pokemon so much more accessible. With regards to the what Alex was talking about with Players Cup, I'm very happy to tell that story. It definitely ties in because that was I think that people didn't realize how much data we had at our disposal until we started playing with it. The first Players Cup, they all the team sheets were public for your region, and we went ahead and no one like realized exactly what we could do with it. And so in Players Cup 2, Gavin and I built a program that could go ahead and gather every single, I think the statute of limitations to this is just run out. I don't think Gavin's going to get banned again. We built a program that would gather every single team sheet from that tournament, and we made it one big data set, and we were able to play with it. And yeah, we found exactly that conclusion that you mentioned, Alex, was that everyone was using Tapu Fini. And we looked at it and we said every single water type, every single physical water type, so basically every water type that isn't Tapu Fini had a crazy high win rate into the field, and Tapu Fini just had an abysmal performance in that tournament. And yeah, it was just like, and then I know as a result, Gavin started using Azumarill and did really well in some online tournaments with that. and I was using Urshifu Water, and I did some really well in some online tournaments with that. And then, the Players Cup finals rolled around, and everyone kind of saw that, Urshifu Water is the way to go. But yeah, that was like I think the first time that we had access to that amount of data. And we kind of like, we managed to take advantage of it. And it really is a huge advantage when you have access to things like that.
I think like where the advantage comes from in like people have always been able to look at like what's done the best, like what the winning team is, but it's thing is like you don't have the context with it of you don't have what the usage of it throughout the tournament was. You don't know well, I guess mainly that, right? Of it's like when something does well but isn't the winner, it can go under the radar, I think. Like for San Antonio, right? Like no one is going to be disrespecting Roaring Moon, right? But it's like you see this data and it allowed like Alex to realize, oh, he trends sick,
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that's not something you get from just like going through the list of the top teams.
Or watching the stream or something like that, like just some of the bare minimum surface level stuff. Like you want to dive a little bit deeper, and that's what these websites are going to allow you to do.
Yeah.
Another anecdote I had about Labmaus is that it is my favorite feature of it is simply just the search for a team feature. I use this quite a bit during coaching. So I'll just go to find team, and like the most common thing is like I'll send the date back all the way to the full format's length or whatever. And somebody comes to me and they're like, I really like Ice Rider and Pelipper together, so I really want to use those two guys together. And I'm like, well, that's good. That doesn't that doesn't tell me that there's a single right answer for this. There are multiple ways, and I could try to list them all from memory, but that's pointless. Let's look at a bunch of examples of them and see which ones have done the best over the past couple of tournaments. And I usually just sort by record and look at like what are the best ones here, what are the different things that they're all trying to do, and going from there. You can choose exactly how much criteria is like do or die for you too, because I think if you hit the show details button, right, that's the one that expands it. So it's like I wanted to like run, I don't know, like helping hand on my Pelipper. Like I think that it has to have helping hand. They're like die hard about this move, so you just go to move one and make it like helping hand or something like that. And it's just kind of like you can just like kind of like window shop in the best way possible, because if you're, as long as you're within reason, you're going to find what like a team that has like done what you are trying to do before, and then you can rip exactly that team if that's what you're trying to get out of this. Or you can see oh, have these teams done well before, or have they struggled? Are they not doing well? Should I avoid them? Or are they using mostly things that I want to use, but actually I want to put Chi-Yu instead of Incineroar on this team? I think it's actually going to really complete my vision, but I just needed to see how somebody made the rest of the pieces fit together in a previous tournament. I think it's an awesome tool that people can use for themselves, but I also use like during coaching to just kind of like teach people how to use data to their advantage, basically.
Yeah.
That show details is really annoying me, that you're so zoomed in, as I didn't realize when you press show details that everything is like overlapping. It's like, no, it's supposed to be so much cleaner.
Actually, he's zoomed
there we go.
he's zoomed out. Yeah,
yeah, that's how it's
That's what
supposed
it's
to look.
supposed to look like.
Yeah, no, I have everything a little scrunched up so it fits on screen. But no, the interface looks better normally. But no, I agree. And the fun part about this is that, yeah, like you can find some pretty standard ideas, like you mentioned, like Pelipper, Cali Ice. What I use it for is whenever Rajan comes to me and says, "Hey, I got this cool Pokemon that no one's using. Like I think this core is really cool. I'll immediately plug it in here and say, has anyone used this before?" And then you get to see, like, inevitably, there's too many people playing Pokemon now. There are no original ideas, really. You can find a few people who have probably tried the same thing, and you can start to see the trends in what they have figured out. People kind of come to the same conclusions, and they kind of figure out, okay, well, if I do want to use Dugtrio Miraidon, in fact, we can plug in Dugtrio right now, and we can see what people have been doing with Dugtrio, right? Like we can see. I haven't actually tested this one yet. Rajan might be proving me wrong right here. All right, but like it's just interesting to see if anyone has used these ideas before and what ideas. Nope, no. Rajan literally is the only
We
person
got one.
to use Dugtrio. Okay, never mind. I take it back. You get this one. I have done this before though. For where you start to see the trends that people have done for these unusual choices, and it really makes team building around these unusual choices a lot easier because you can find people who have tried the same things, and you can kind of, like you said, window shop, take the ideas that you like. Now it's really about the searches, but and also on top of all of that, if I see a weird team in the GC, I will immediately plug it in here to see if anyone has used this exact team before. And that also like helped me a lot in my Regulation H GC runs, was just finding teams from Limitless Source that people had used before as well. So, what was I? Oh, okay. So I guess the other thing that I wanted to ask you about was because this is really useful, and I genuinely didn't realize that you the left side of it. But what I want to do, and something that we did a lot more in Gen 8 with data and in 2023 with data was we were looking at win rates of Pokemon into other Pokemon, and we were really using that data in our team building. And I've been too lazy to scrape the data myself because you've just made it so easy to access here. But that is the one thing that I was using that isn't as prevalent anymore. Is kind of aggregating win rates across multiple different tournaments and saying, how do all these Pokemon actually match up against each other with massive sample sizes? And so I'm curious if that's something that that you've considered, or if if you just have that feature and I just can't find it.
It's not a feature yet. It's one that I've considered, and I'm currently working on. So when I made Labmaus, I knew nothing what I was doing about front end development and website development, and so I made it work. And then since then, at my job, they said, "Hey, you built a site. Can you build an internal site for us?" And so I'd made another site completely separate from this, but using my knowledge of Labmaus as the foundation. And I had the time to do it properly and do it right. And I learned so much that it's like, okay, now I'm looking back at Labmaus, and this code is crap. So now I just want to go. I started the groundwork for completely reworking the site. The site itself, like the layout, won't change much, but more so back end and optimization and adding new features. So that is one of the things on my list. And I'm slowly picking away at that. The last few months have been chaotic at work, but it's in the works.
It is crazy that like, I know the passion project is like an enterprise quality dashboard. You know what I mean? Because like, I don't know, it's like this is the type of thing that, let's be honest, is like a lucrative career path, and you're just out here doing it for free.
I mean, I would like to make this into a proper career. I just need to actually do it.
Yeah, that's
It's a, I need to fix ads on the page so that they can properly display and I can make some income off of that. I need to get a site up and running to sell merch. I need to get the Patreon hooked up so I have some reasons to actually subscribe to the Patreon.
the merch angle's a really good point because the Lab Mouse logo does go crazy.
It's a great logo.
It's really fun. I've got a few different. I even got some. The guy who I commissioned to do it. I have a few other art pieces that I got commissioned specifically for being made into merch. And then I went through the whole process with a site, and I registered everything, and then they just had to uh, like I uploaded the images, and they had to verify that they were unique. I wasn't ripping anyone off, and then they just never got back to me. I reached out to them, and they never got back to me. So I was like, well, okay, I need to start again somewhere else.
Uh, yeah. So someone in chat is asking, do you do data analysis or data analytics IRL or just as a hobby?
Just I'm a software developer, so not a lot, but it does occasionally come up.
Mhm.
while we're talking about, great passion project websites, I'm curious if you have one that you're like a fan. Like, what's your like favorite one that somebody else has made? Like, there's been so many throughout VGC's history. What are like what's one that you think is like a really awesome one in the community? To like give
Oh,
somebody else
let's
one.
see. Do have some. Trying to think.
I have some that come to mind as well if we need ideas. But yeah, I was just curious if there was like a site out there that you're like, this person's also doing really good work with just
Uh,
like Pokemon
one
projects,
one that's
basically.
popped up the last few months was Stat Crusher, which was a really interesting one for EV breakdowns, which is one of the few things that I can't really support on my site since the open team sheet is the EVs are the one thing that they don't include.
Right.
But hold on,
Stat,
there's an
Stat Crusher is awesome. I've used this one as well for some tournament like planning and stuff like that. The honestly the most important one, you can figure out whatever calcs that you want to, do damage wise, what you want to survive when they're attacking you. But the king here is speed. It's like, well, just how fast does my Calyrex Ice need to be if I want to outspeed most Incineroars? Like what could I do if I wanted to outspeed a bunch of Incineroars? And that's like a really, really cool part about this site. Absolutely.
uh,
Is
another
the flexibility.
one that I haven't used too much, but it seems like it has a lot of potential is vgcmulticalc.com.
Ooh, I don't know if I've used
Ooh,
that one.
yes, yes.
This one is apparently really big in South America. That you can
Oh,
do one versus many, team versus many, and many versus team, so you can calculate. You can do a lot of these calculations that you would normally do, but if you scroll down, you can see. Well, yeah, in many versus team, if you scroll down, yeah, so you can see these kind of breakdowns from multiple Pokemon at once, rather than just the standard damage calculator where you can only see one-on-one.
Yeah, I have not used this before, but this is also really cool.
yeah, this one's lit. Um,
And
One that I was going to mention as like a bit of a similar but different vibe is like VGC Pastes is also really good for like linking like rentals and stuff. I know they did a lot of work in the past. I remember I don't think you should go to I think the website might be like down and like I don't want you to get a virus on stream, Audie, but I think VGC Stats is the old one that Zach used to run. All right, he's gonna get that virus on stream. Let's go. Um, Anyways, I think yeah, I guess the Twitter page is probably safe. This one was a fun, like, passion project to like see about like, what Pokemon could earn the most championship points if you count like locals and stuff like that. And like the community did a good job of like collecting every local that they could. It was really, really cool. I'm just like, I don't know. The Labmaus is obviously a really awesome one going on right now, but I'm just like, I'm a VGC boomer, of course. Gavin, Audie have also been playing, more and less than me, respectively. Um, and like you guys have been around a while though, and there's just so many like different cool things that people have done over the years, just for fun, and like you gotta like respect the people that do this. So of
Yeah.
Yeah.
course, Labmaus is an awesome one, and yeah.
Can I
So
share my
there.
pick?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Check. Have you guys ever gone on Pokemon?
How do you
I
spell
don't think
that?
I know this one.
Click the link I just put in Discord.
Is this one going to give me a
Um,
virus?
this is no.
Yes,
This is the only
or
thing
no.
I've seen that actually does usage stats for like Korean or for in-game stuff. It's a Korean site. So if you translate it, so click the button to the you see where it's blue right now? Click the button just to the right of that. No, no, go back. Like
Uh,
the radio button that's clicked. Click
oh,
the
this
radio
one.
button.
Okay, okay, I
Yeah.
see.
And then if you click on a Pokemon, so not on the Pokemon itself, but on the little Pokeball symbol for it. And then on there, click the radio button in the right thing, like on the to the right of it. Yeah. So what this will do is it takes a bit to populate, but it'll show you in-game usage stats for a given Pokemon. So yeah, this is basically how it pulls from the online
Pokemon
thing every
Home.
day, and you can get like what rank or Shifu his usage is.
Oh
From
wow. And it pulls like every hour too. This is hourly data.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, it is. It's the site itself is a little finicky and also Korean, which like is a problem if you have a skill issue like I do. But I don't know. Have not seen anything else like provide this level of data.
No, this is super cool. Is Tinglu really fifth or is this singles?
That's singles. You
I
gotta click
see.
on the
I see. I see. Yeah.
It's default singles because yeah.
So, Alex, because you mentioned the FVGC pastes, I should point out that there's 3 significant resources that all stemmed from the same Discord. The
Yep.
the Little Root Lessons Discord that I was a part of, where I originally developed Labmaus. It's Evan who created the VGC pastes, and was a good friend. He kind of disappeared, but yeah, he made the VGC pastes originating from that same
Yep.
Discord, as well as Bauerdad or Josh, who made the parsers, which is
Oh,
another
I'm glad that you
fantastic
mentioned that
resource.
one. We haven't talked about that one yet. That one's also a really cool one. Yeah,
Mhm.
there's just
Mhm.
so many awesome resources out there.
Yeah.
Because like VGC wouldn't be. I do think that like it's a decent game. I have a great time playing VGC. I think that like 70% of the enjoyment for me comes from the building side, the like treating it like this like game that I think nothing else quite has this level of like customization for a strategy game. Like yeah, there's card games and stuff like that, and you can choose the cards that go into your deck and stuff. They probably have a bit more interesting like gameplay, maybe not, but like regardless, the thing about VGC is that like I think nothing compares to the team builder in VGC, and all of these are different ways to change how you approach the team builder. The team builder is like there is just like so many things that you can do in it because of the way that Pokemon is between EVs, IVs, moves, items, Terras, everything. But these are all different ways to just like get ideas as to how you want to go about it, and that's the fun of it. Is that I think that if it wasn't for team building, some people don't care about team building at all. Yeah, like you can see, like yes, Birmingham was won by somebody who didn't do that much team building. They picked a team that was already pretty proven. But for me, it's a lot more fun to treat every tournament like a puzzle that you're trying to solve.
I completely agree. And yeah, I think trying to think about what else I've done with data. Uh, I guess the other cool project that I got to work on um, was the I think I might have also been the one of the first people to scrape all the data from all of the open team sheets that we had way back in 2023. And
Yeah.
I used this to build my Nats team. I made a YouTube video about it and then never continued to do this. And it was really cool to see Ben Build kind of pick up the mantle and to continue to do elo ratings. I did initial elo ratings and then he continued doing it. Uh, I guess yeah, you can watch the YouTube video if you really want to, but the key thing that I really tried to do here was use data to figure out not only what the most common cores were, but also the Pokemon that had the highest win rates into those common cores.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the cornerstone of my of our NAIC team that year was saying, oh, like this Assault Vest Annihilate set has a crazy high win rate into some of the most common Pokemon. We should be using this and trying to figure out the best way to use this Pokemon. And that's something that I guess the data for the most common cores is available on Labmaus. You can see it here. But yeah, it's like I guess this is the win rates against common cores is actually like not trivial to do computationally. So it's like not something that you can like really easily put on a website for anyone to kind of just like click through. I think, which is a little unfortunate because I'd love to be able to do that, but yeah, it's just like not something that you could load on a page very quickly.
Yeah, that would be a nice feature, but definitely it would need an individual page, and it's something that would take a little bit longer to load.
Yeah.
You need to pay for server costs at that point too.
Right. Yeah, that was easier to do when I was like, doing individual use cases where I was like, okay, how do I do against this specific 3-mon
Yeah,
core?
exactly.
And yeah, but yeah, I think that the other really cool thing about Labmaus, I'm gonna keep doing this, is that it combines the limitless data from with the tournament data. And so while normally we only look at tournaments, there are hundreds and hundreds of limitless tournaments. I mean, even though they're looking at 30 40 players, 10 12 players, I mean, there are so many of them for every single actual tournament. And while I generally considered like this data lower quality than tournament data, people are just testing stuff. They're not going to a tournament with like everything on the line. um yeah, it's just like I feel like the data aggregation aspect of it is something that means that, like, okay, what I'm saying is that, like, if I go to this 28 person limitless tour, I'm not going to get a lot of value out of the data that's on this tour. It's really cool to have access to it, but I'm not going to get a lot out of it. Whereas if I can aggregate all of these 28 person tours, all of a sudden that is a huge repository that I think has a lot of value.
I'll just point out that for the unofficial tournaments, I agree that they don't carry as much weight as the official ones. But I will note that the tournaments are definitely slowing down as we're getting this late into the generation. But like summer last year, if you were to filter by like minimum 80 players for unofficial tournaments, for a while there was like minimum 80 player, probably 5 or 6 minimum 80 player tournaments per week going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Back in the glory days of the Himmy Burnt Glizzy tour, were there, and the Tommy Tuesday tours. Oh my god, I remember all of these. We'd look through these on Tub Takes too. We'd actually just like go through and talk about them. We don't do that nearly as much anymore. Yeah.
Dude, that's
Yep.
so sad. I came back and with the Himmy burnt Lizzie had to leave.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You got to think, have you ever seen them in the same place?
True.
No, there can only be room for one wiener in the VGC community.
um, should we go ahead and move on to the last part then? Are we doing a Calc is
Yeah.
right today, or are we not? What's the
Yeah,
vibe
of
on
course. Of course. Let's do the Calc is right. So for those who might not be aware, the Calc is right is a little game that we like to play at the very end of our streams. I guess unless you want to also like, normally what we do is we play the Calc is right. I have done occasionally like fun games with Labmaus where we talk about random weird usage stats that I've pulled out of nowhere and made people guess over under.
that?
I guess we could do that instead. I guess we could try to do that, given that we got Mr.
If you
Labmouse
had
himself.
some ready,
Let's see. Let me.
or actually, wait, you haven't? Do you know any? I bet because you might just know some. Do you happen to know any funny tournament stats that we you could quiz us on, or no?
Oh, not off the top of
I don't
my
mean to
head,
put you on the spot.
unfortunately. No.
Okay.
All right. Let me see.
Yeah, sometimes Audie will come to us like, what is the highest win rate Pokemon from blank tour with more than 2 uses or something, because like it has to be interesting.
Yeah.
And then the answer will end up being Heatran.
I'll. You know what? I'll kick us right off for San Antonio regionals. How well do you guys know the results of San Antonio regionals? If you guys are looking at my I can stop sharing my screen to this to that. Actually, no. I'll leave it. I'll leave it because that way, do I want people on watching to be able to see the answer to this or not? Whatever. We'll keep it off screen. People can guess. What is the highest usage Pokemon at San Antonio regionals that did not make it to top cut?
See, this is a good one. Yeah, this is the kind of question we're looking for.
not
Highest usage Pokemon that didn't make cut. All
Yes.
right, we're gonna treat it like Calc is right. So everybody think of an answer, but don't say it, and then Audie calling us once we're ready.
That's not what I wanted.
So just verbally say that you're locked in.
I'm locked in. I think I know what it has to be.
You know what it has to be?
Yeah. I think.
We're saying top cut, Professor Tiberius is what we're saying. I guess the question is it's overall usage though, Adi, not day 2 usage, probably overall usage.
Overall usage, yes.
Yeah. Okay. I've got my answer locked in. I don't know if it's we'll see. Whatever.
Okay, sure.
All right, Tim, what do you think?
I am going to guess Grimmsnarl.
Grimmsnarl is second.
Damn it.
Gavin, what did you have?
There weren't any Miraidon in cut, right?
There were not any Miraidon in top cut. That is right. That is the highest win rate, the highest usage Pokemon that didn't make top cut. Yeah. Sorry, Alex, I didn't get to get your guess.
Oh. It's okay because my guess, I realized as soon as I thought of it, I was like, oh, there's like 3 of them. I was gonna guess Tornadus, but I forgot about the Kyogre Tornadus team.
I was thinking Miraidon, and I was like, well, I know it didn't get top 8, but it must have made top cut.
No, it's crazy. But you actually got the second highest one, which is you get to scroll for a while, and then Grimmsnarl and Volcarona both missed top cut. They were on the same team. Highest placement 37th. But yeah, that was the one little piece of trivia that I like to do a lot of the time. We can also do the Calc is right. I don't have a ton of trivia.
I've got a Calc, so get ready, guys.
All right.
So I had a GC relevant one that happened to me. I just posted my paste on Twitter. Let me go ahead and grab my Ice Rider spread because I don't actually have it memorized.
I have it plugged into the Calc already.
All right, perfect. The Ice Rider is 244 HP, 28 special defense. We're doing a special attack Calc. The Calc is in Sun. How much does Terrifier Choice Specs Modest Max Eruption do from Groudon?
Eruption.
From Groudon to this Calyrex. This Calyrex didn't Terra. He felt very safe in front of a Groudon. Groudon can't hurt me. I'm wearing my safe assault vest. I am safe. I got off a coaching boost to make sure that the Precipice Blaze or whatever doesn't do too much damage. I'm safe. I'm so safe right now. And so when you guys are ready, let me know.
You said Terrifier and Sun. Is there any other boost?
No, this is specs. Choice specs,
choice
modest
specs.
max.
And okay. I'm doing a lot of internal multiplying by 1.5 here.
Choice specs, modest max, Sun, Terrifier, Eruption from a Groudon. Not Primal Groudon. This is just regular old Groudon.
So
But he
not
did take on the
Terrifier.
fire typing for it. It is Terrifier. You're right.
okay.
I mean, it's close.
Okay.
Basically Primal Groudon, I guess, if you put it that way. But he can still get hit by water moves. And he has a much smaller special attack stat, but I'm not going to tell you what that number is. Primal Groudon had like a 150 though, right?
Primal had a 150, yeah. I have a number ready. I think you posted this in Tub, so I think I should know the answer.
I didn't post the Calc. I just posted the situation.
I think I have a number.
All right. Are you locked in, Tim?
Yeah, I'm locked in.
All right, cool. Let's start with Gavin.
I think it probably has like a 12% chance to one shot. I'm gonna average a 95%.
All right, over to you, Tim.
I was saying closer to 85.
85. All right, Adi.
All right. Well, you did say in our group chat that it knocked you out, so I'm gonna say 105.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the beauty of it. Is it a roll to kill, or was I dead as hell? But it did kill me. It did take down my Ice Rider in one. They had Jump Luff. They went for Tailwind. I was like, what do I have to fear? And yeah, to be fair, this is the GC. I can't confirm all of these things that I said are right, but dude, what? 100 exactly. Oh my god.
Dude, that's clean.
That's clean.
Perfect EV.
Yo, Jody, thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. Hope you had a good stream. We are just wrapping up this episode of Tub Takes featuring U.S. national champion Gavin Michaels and also Mr. Labmaus himself, Tim So if you have any questions for either of these players, feel free to throw them in chat. We'll try to get to them. But we are doing the calc is right, so we are guessing some damage calcs. Does anyone have another calc ready?
I do. I have one off the top of my head.
Go for it.
So, 2 of the otter Pokemon to get championship points at San Antonio.
There's an otter
were
Pokemon?
Yeah, Floatzel. You didn't know?
Oh right, I forgot about that guy.
Anyways, there are 2 Pokemon that are even more otter than that. Bastiodon and Riolu both got championship points at San Antonio Regionals. So I want to know, how much do you think max defense body press from Bastiodon does to, let's say, max defense Eviolite Riolu? So just 252
Max HP, max
HP,
defense.
252 defense, bold on the
Yeah.
Riolu, and then a defense for the Bastiodon. I don't want you to know the Bastiodon's defense stat. I don't think you deserve to know that information. How much do you think it
No,
does?
that's fair. That's fair.
Is this a thing that happens at SoCal locals? Is this what we should expect?
Yeah.
Like a
Seems like
little.
it.
Like,
Just
honestly, the only difference is that no one here was running in DD.
That's
this
why.
just reminds me of the Gen 8 days of using Riolu to prankster Trick Room. And it's like they made Riolu surprisingly bulkier than you would think.
Yeah.
All right, I'm ready.
Alright.
I've got a number.
All right, and Tim, you locked in?
Sure.
Or no?
Yep.
All right, Alex, what's yours first?
I feel like non-stab body press. I don't know. That's just like kind of like weak sauce. So I'm giving it 43. Like I know Riolu might be a little baby guy, but yeah, I'm going 43.
Audie?
I think it's two-shotting. I don't know. It's a Riolu, man. I'm gonna say 51.
Tim?
I will say 55.
You are all wrong.
Okay. All right.
33
Yo!
to 39%.
Wow.
Riolu, throw the Eviolite on. 252, 252. Did you say it was
Max Bold.
bold? Damn. You're right. Wow. That does nothing. This Bastiodon guy. What do you mean I gotta get 2 body press offs before I can have a roll to KO Riolu?
Drawing defenses, yeah.
I was looking at the Bastiodon because, like, there was a gaggle of SoCal people that were running it, and for the life of me, I couldn't figure out what it did.
It's sometimes 3 shots of Riolu.
Plus 4.
Nah, Gavin, you're gonna have to like do a deep dive and investigate these people at your local scene because I still think the Bastiodon seems like ass. They all collectively agreed that this was the thing to do, but like, I'm not seeing the vision still.
I mean, Alex,
You're
you
gonna
remember
have
when
to
we
go
all brought
undercover.
Snorlax to Worlds?
I stand by it.
I don't.
I stand by that.
Bro,
I was a winning in a way.
Same. I don't stand by it.
That guy was awesome.
All right. I have a calc as well. So I before I hopped on the Ice Rider train, I was trying to make Eternatus work for the last month. That mon is so frustrating. It is just not good. And the reason it's not good is it is like one of those Pokemon that's like 5 stats away from being really good. Just doesn't quite have enough. It's just a little too slow.
Defense, special attack, special defense, and speed.
Well, that's the thing. It's like it's just a little slower than it wants to be, and it's a little less powerful than it wants to be, and it's a little it's a little less bulky than you want it to be. So I'm gonna throw some calcs out there. So you click in Meteor Beam with this guy, right? If you are 252 special attack, modest Eternatus versus, let's say, you know what? Let's make it real tricky. Because I kind of spoiled the answer otherwise. Into Alex's Assault Vest Calyrex Ice. How much are you doing with Meteor Beam?
Meet me from Max Modest, you said?
From Max Modest.
So that's 252 HP, 28 special defense, Assault Vest,
Caloric
Ice
size.
Rider?
Yep.
244 HP. Don't get it twisted, Gavin. I don't want this to throw off your calcs.
Twisted. I'm twisted. Like the tea.
Yep.
Has anyone ever?
Yep.
I've never actually had a twisted tea. I'm gonna be so real with you.
I don't know if I have either. Wait,
That
does that
would
have
be straight
alcohol?
out.
Because then I definitely would have. Okay. I think I know this. I hope I do. I don't think I experienced it. I might have played one Eternus in my GC run. Maybe one. I did get hit by several Terrapagos meat beams and a Lunala meat beam.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's what I'm
Yeah.
basing it off of too. Of like how much do I think Lunala would do, and then how much more special attack or less do I think Eternatus has than Lunala.
All right.
I'm locked in.
I'm locked in.
Yep, I'm locked in.
All right. Alex, what do you think?
Pick me last. I should have the best answer. I'm the one using this thing.
Fine. Gavin, what do you think?
I think 70, because I think Meat Beam is like a roll to kill normal Ice Rider, and I'm guessing Eternatus got slightly power crept than Lunala.
All right, Tim, what do you think?
I'm probably lowballing it, but I'm going to say 55.
55. And Alex, what do you think?
Picking the highest number, 75. I don't know. I mean, now they're making me doubt myself. But yeah, these meat beams, whenever I did get hit by one of them, it was a little bit more than I was ready for, a little bit more than I would have liked every time. I was just like, do I really have to Terra? And they're like, yeah, you do. But it looks
let's
like
go.
Gavin
Oh, yeah.
nails it.
Gavin nailed it.
Bullseye.
And Tim, you were in the range too, right? You said 65?
55.
55. Oh, okay. Just Gavin then. Yeah, okay. So let me complain about this guy because I spent way too long trying to make this guy work. If you run max special attack and they're 252-4, it's a favorable roll to knock out Ice Rider. Gavin had that calc on lock. Which means that you have to run max modest. Except if you run max modest, then you also have a chance you die to the adamant glacial lance. So you can't. So you also just need a little bit of bulk to live this glacial lance consistently. You need a little bit of bulk to consistently live 2 Specs Terrapagos Terra Starstorms. You just need a little bit. But what if you don't want speed? Well, if you run max speed, you outspeed Tornadus and Ogrepon, which is a fantastic speed tier to be in. You speed creep Lucas Arabelli's Miraidon by a point. You outspeed all those Zamazenta. It's a great speed tier. So you just barely miss out on having every single. You have to concede one of these, and all 3 of them are so important. They are all game losing. It is so frustrating. This guy legitimately needs like 5 additional base stats in any of these stats to be genuinely good, and instead it's just not good enough.
To be so real, I
mean,
don't pity.
Eternamax.
No pity here.
I'll go. I was gonna say that Eternamax is like supposed to be the broken version of this guy. Like maybe it needs its like its gimmick because it doesn't have Dynamax cannon anymore. Maybe its gimmick is that it can break the EV cap and just go 252 in every stat because like it's just that would be super reasonable.
Okay, hear me out. You can use like Eternal form, whatever the hell it's called. Eternamax, but it works like Dondozo. So it's like you have Eternatus on the field, you send in Tatsugiri, Eternatus eats it, and it turns into this. Some really bad sushi. How much better is that?
It's kind of broken because you just get to run Cosmic Power and make it unkillable.
We'll have to talk.
I think
after
that would be. I think it'd be fine. I don't think it'd be actually that broken.
We'll have to talk after the podcast, Gavin. But I didn't realize that you were the type of person to pull up to the GC with Dondozo. I have, I've lost a bit of respect. So it was a crushing thing to see on my screen.
Listen.
No. We'll talk afterwards. None of your excuses can save you. The 2 fish were there.
All right. Tim, did you have a calc that you wanted to throw at us?
I threw one just as a complete wild card that none of you will probably know off the top of your head because it is not a Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet.
Okay.
So, Terra Fighting Grapploct with Choice Band, Adamant 252.
Okay. Graplox.
Again-
What's he hitting?
against Zamazenta with 252 HP, 88 defense.
Okay, wait.
88
What
defense,
attack
sure.
was Graplox
What's the attack?
using?
Yeah, what's the attack?
Sorry. Circle throw with technique.
Okay.
Circle.
Technician?
It is its only fighting type move that it really benefits getting technician boosted.
I didn't even know it had technician.
It does. It gets no good moves with technician, and it makes me cry.
Okay.
I got my number.
So you said max attack, adamant. Was it choice band or no item?
Yeah, choice bands technician.
Choice band, terra fighting technician. Circle throw.
Yeah.
Into
Again,
Wait. Oh god,
252 HP, 88 defense, Zamazenta.
does Circle Throw get the base power boost from like tearing to? Oh god.
no, it doesn't work with technician.
No, circle throw works with technician.
No, sorry. If
No, Circle Throw does.
the terra power boost doesn't work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have a guess.
Yeah, I've got my number.
I have my number.
I'm so confident in my number.
All right, you got to call it, people.
All right, we're all ready. So pick
all
on
right.
someone to start.
Alex.
All right. I said I was so confident. Let's go for 55. I think with all the multipliers, we have to be over like two-shotting. Come on, right?
Wait,
Okay,
I
Gavin?
have the exact opposite take. 49.5% on the principle
can't get there.
of I don't want this to 2 KO. I think like how Pokemon works is that this is just most barely like frustratingly not a 2 KO.
I think this two shots, and I think this two shots because the Zamazenta spread is not very good, and it should be running all the defense investment. And so I think this is actually doing. Right. I think this is doing 63.
You're right. 88 defense.
So it's adamant, technician, choice band, terra fighting, and we got the circle throw. And it is doing more than any of us thought it would. It's doing 68.3 to 82.4.
We put a few too many multipliers on there. Eventually, it's going to get there. Super effective, Terra, Band, Technician. But what were we actually working with? Is it 118? That's the number?
That's not bad. That's the attack stat.
118's, yeah, no, it's reasonable.
Can you do this with what does this look like with max defense, Sam?
If it's like max defense 160, 196 or something, like standard.
Yeah.
It's doing 64.5 to 77.
It doesn't save it that much.
It really doesn't. Wow.
Yeah. Without Terra, it still KOs. It's still two shots rather. Usually.
That's why I'm used to my Graplock Zamazenta Calc from Sword and Shield.
Right. I mean, the max fighting would do so much less damage. The max knuckle. Yeah. Well,
I'm trying to figure out how mine differed from.
Oh, is yours different?
Mine is slightly different because. Does yours have the?
Wait, we're using hero or crown form?
What did I miss?
Yeah,
Crown is right.
Yeah, Crown is right. Oh no, I was using the Pokemon Showdown calc, and it was showing 44 to 52, and I was like, where did I go wrong here?
Was that level 100? No.
No, level 50.
Win for reading your mind.
Wait, so what?
I use telekinesis to get that calc right. Don't even be careful if I'm wrong. Click Zamazenta hero form.
Yeah, Zamazenta base form does 40 to 48, so that might be.
You did it off of hero form, dude.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
It defaulted to the regular old Zama because the regular old Zama is like OU legal. This is why you got to use the Nerd Now Calc. While we were talking about plugging VGC resources in the community, Nerd Now Calc got all the sets that you're looking for the format that we're playing. So definitely recommend that one for VGC calcs.
I was trying to use it. It's I typed in grapple locked and it just didn't actually come up. So I was really confused.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yo. So with that, we are going to wrap it up. Thank you all for tuning in on this episode of Top Takes. If you missed part of this episode, you can watch the entire thing on YouTube tomorrow. So make sure to check that out. I've also got I've been working on another video. By the way, y'all really loved the Chansey video that I put out. It's like one of my top 5 videos of all time, which is great because that's been on the back burner for so long. And I'm glad that it did well. It's really nice to see a video that you've kind of like thought about for a long time. You knew it would do well. It's finally putting in the time to make it work. Doing well. So I'd love to do more VGC history videos. Gavin, you might be excited to see the one that's coming up next.
Ooh.
Wait, hold on.
Can I get a hint?
Yeah. I'm gonna show you my thumbnail for it. How's this look?
Oh my god.
That's a sneak preview of the next video that's coming out. That hopefully I can bring out sometime in the next week or so. But yeah, this one should be fun as well. So yeah, thank you all for tuning in, and check out YouTube. Team Rocket Elite, by the way, not possible without you. You are the only person to save the recording of 2013 Nationals, which is crazy. It's crazy.
No, Jimmy Qua is the GOAT.
Yeah.
It's crazy that they streamed it, but they didn't stream it on Twitch. It was just like an in-venue stream.
Yeah. It's the last time a major event like that, like a Nationals, hasn't been streamed. All the 2014 ones onwards have been, which is it's cool. So, but yeah, thank you all for watching. We're gonna send you over to Topo Wapo, who just coming off of a 2nd place finish in the GC. Go give him a congratulations, and maybe ask him how to do well in the GC. And yeah, that's gonna do it from us. Until next time, we'll see you guys later.
Peace out, peeps.
Ciao.